Hey, what's going on, everybody? What's going on? Hopefully, you guys are having a really good day today. It is, of course, a beautiful, probably for a lot of people, hot Saturday. Uh, Welcome, of course, to another episode of Opinionated with yours truly. I am Reggie, also known as Resla, up on these spaces. And I think we're gonna have a pretty decent show for you today. I know every time I attempt to say it's gonna be something a little short, it doesn't really end up being that way as we get into all these big thought-provoking topics. If you're actually new here to the channel, then welcome, of course, welcome, of course. But then also, let me be the one to just formally tell you what this channel is about, and it is about thought-provoking conversations, having conversation in general to dispel a lot of talking points and narratives that we tend to get all over here on social media, but as well giving critical thought and having critical thought with you guys, giving all that power back to you guys because we tend to get into a space where we are so glued to these damn things that we tend to expound and spit out the damn views of what we tend to see all the time on social media when it's not reflected in our own lives. And we need to have more of our own thoughts. So that's one of the reasons why we really have this channel outside of just having the actual conversation for the sake of having the conversation, but most of all, to actually have this out in the real world rather than just conforming to the narratives. Uh, like I said, I do have a couple of things today and things I would like to reach on. I'm not going to go too heavy on it. At least that's the idea, the thought process will be going on today. But before we get into all that, you know how I like to do things. I like to start off by first acknowledging and saying thank you, everybody, for pretty much showing up. Oh, that right now. Thank you for showing up. And we will, of course, sit by as everybody else starts getting in. If you haven't, or if rather, if you don't receive any notification from me, because this does happen, YouTube does make it an issue to unsubscribe people or to not really give notifications. So if you do want to get all the notification from my channel, be sure that when you're hitting the actual subscribe button, that you click all notifications on that bell. Outside of that, you know how I like to do things. I like to always come off and start off with the people who are here in the channel, which of course I didn't properly prepare for. Look at me already. I am slipping already, folks. We gonna do this properly. We gonna do this properly. I could just say all the people that's in here right now, but I want to do this properly because I want to give all you guys you just do. So here, chat, post that out. Cool. So for those that are in the building right now, thank you for showing up. We have, we of course have OG Do Dirty who is showing up in the chat. Thank you so much for actually showing up in the chat. Let me just do this real quick so we can give our proper acknowledgments to those who already showed up here in the chat. So the first one being OG Do 30. He said, "What's good, pimpin'?" It's another day, man. It's another day in it. Of course, we have Conshani who shows up and said, "What's up?" Listen, thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing up. Hey, CCD walked in here as well. Thank you for showing up. Like I said, everybody will pop in over time. So of course, say what's up to everybody's in there. And if you're new walking into the channel, take some good stock as to what you're seeing. Also, be sure to look at a lot of my other content as well, because I tend to go all over the board. So it's not just a matter of just simple reactions, whatever. We really do give a big opinion and stuff. And I do have videos. It's not just strictly live streams. So let's go on that. Hey, listen. I wish that I could really have everything come up in real time, especially when you guys are working on it. Maybe I should work on it. I should pin that down at some point when I'm reviewing this video. To have you guys come in here in real time and I can start seeing all of you guys' reactions real quick. It's a little bit of delay on my side. It's a tiny bit of a delay. Um, but yeah, I even see Miss Raven. She walked in here, but I don't have her on my program. I don't know why. Huh? It'll probably come in just a little bit later. But I want to thank you for coming in as well. And I'm actually writing down. I don't know how, but I started getting back into my whole scripting. So I'm actually got an idea for a particular topic, whatever, and I'm looking for people to have a conversation with about it. Um, but until I finish it, I don't really want to say what it is. But it'll be coming up with probably within the next, if not next live that we have, then probably next. And if I do think that wherever my mind starts going to finish it, it might be a little too touchy before we start having the conversation. Maybe I'll drop a video for it. But hopefully you guys are doing very good today. Besides the fact that it is hot as hell, pretty much everywhere. I can't tell you how many times I've been turning on and off my damn AC. Oh, look, my program is catching up to date. Cool, cool. All right. So you said like a five. Yeah, yeah. Well, I use a pop out also for when I'm looking at you guys so that you can see all the messages here on the screen. So it's a little bit of delay. When I see you guys actually in chat, it's a lot faster than when the actual messages gets hit over to my blog. So that's just really what it is. Anyway, there were some couple things that I wanted to take a look at. My notifications, or rather my feed, is not looking as good as it should because everybody is still talking about the entire uh, Trump, Biden, what's all going on. So my feed has been heavily on the political side, which of course, I, while I have been immersing myself in that to see what's going on and to follow, you guys know I don't like to really just harp on things that are there. When it comes to politics, we have plenty of other good people that are already well good at establishing themselves on that kind of stuff. And then I'm going to be busy this weekend as well, not only just being out with a couple people, but also just being around the bush and everything else. And of course, I've got to start working on a few things to start giving you guys a little bit more on the content side. Anyway, enough of my ramblings. Enough of my ramblings. What I want to do here is I want to talk about something that we see on a regular basis, right? For those who like to be in these relationship streets in the on the YouTube platforms. You know me, I'm not really in it, but at the same time, you get a lot of those damn narratives that actually get picked up a lot. Hey, what's going on, Mayo? You do get a lot of those narratives that get picked up in the industries, or you hear about it on other social platforms. They show up, especially on my Instagram and stuff like that. But I wanted to go to our most recent screen. I didn't even know this man was still doing a show, and for all I know, it could just be freaking replays. But let's take a look at this here.
Me and Chris, we've been together for going on 2 years. We have a 9-month-old baby. He's a family man. Like he takes care of us. He does a good job with the kids. I do love him. I do love him, but honestly, I feel like he's attracted to men. I feel like he's done stuff with men. I think he's gay because how he walked too feminine. Like he just walked like a girl to me. When we talking, sometimes he be like, "Okay, girl." Like I never been.
So right off the bat, right? How many of us have already seen this in these dams, in these YouTube streets, in social media? You can see it on your Instagrams. You can see all that stuff where there is this perception of how young ladies believe that men should be portraying themselves when they're out in public. Like there is this doctrine apparently where people believe that a man should only be this one rigid block of an understanding. Why is there this quote oversimplicity of what men should look like or behave like? Have we seen that before? Hmm? Have we seen that before? Propagated all over social media, whether it's on Facebook, on your Twitters, it's on Instagram. Maybe you guys are looking at some threads. Whether you're looking at TikTok, like how many of us have actually seen these things on a regular basis? And I want to say that this is actually a pretty large issue that I see that takes place within black relationships. And I don't I don't necessarily care for it because I say this when it comes to just how men move in general. We live in a country where we can't even decide that our nation should have a national language. But yet, somehow, and still, we will say that there should only be one type of guy that should be the image of a guy. We live in a multicultural society. but somehow to believe that there should be only one culture for specific sex. But I can almost guarantee you that no one goes to the opposite sex when we're talking about ladies here and stating that they should only be the type that want to be the nurturing, feminine, and being in the kitchen. Now, there are definitely some men that say that, but I've definitely seen other men that turn around and say that they like all kind of other women. They like tom girls. Like they So I'm just wondering when I see a lot of this happening, what a man should be doing. Like, and I listen, and I agree with that. CCD, it's in our television, it's in our music, it's in our movies. Like the portrayal of men is very rigid when it comes to the ideals of those um, on the female perspective. To the point where now the ideal of men have also changed in a social aspect. You know, the views of the 9 to 5 man was already belittled because that man has to be an entrepreneur. Not that all entrepreneurs make money, but or the entire premise of the I want a drug dealer, I want a scammer, as if those are the most successful men that are out there. I'm choosing my words very, very, very carefully. But how do we come to this age? How do we come to this whole rigid stance as to what we believe men should look like when quite frankly the common saying is that, not for nothing, a lot of y'all women don't know what y'all really want. It's like shopping. It's like browsing through a store. You don't know what you want until you actually find it. But for some reason in your mind, you already think that you know what it is that you're looking for. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Now, this particular gentleman that we're talking about is that she says that it's the way that he talks and the way that he walks. But how is he treating you? That's my question. How is he treating you? And keep in mind, at the end of the day, you picked him, which means that you're not very good at vetting, are you? That's just my personal thought. Maybe they'll be a little bit more elaborating. So, well, that's my initial thoughts. My initial thoughts. Let's hear it.
You went on man that talks like that. Like he just have that like like a girl. We're not really intimate, and it's like I have to ask him. And with people, my previous people I've dealt with, I never had to ask nobody to be intimate. Every morning when he gets ready for work, he wakes me up. How this look? Do I need to change? Do I like if he have a wrinkle somewhere, and we're out in public and say if someone knows like he goes crazy. And the thing that makes it more heavy on me is because it's not only me with the thought. It's other.
So it's other people that are influencing her, right? Because again, there's this rigid idea of what a guy looks like. So because he wants to make sure that he doesn't look like shit when he walks out the door, because I'll be honest with you, I don't like looking like shit when I walk out the door. Not even a little bit. If I know that I have particular clothes that I want to wear, or I know I have a particular place that I need to be, I do not want to look like I'm out of place, because I can tell you from working in a corporate industry just how annoying, put it that way, how annoying and how belittling it could be for people to want to analyze every speck of you, because not only your first impression, but also your position within a company is scrutinized all the time. And that stays with you even to this, even when you're no longer in those industries. When I'm out in the street, I don't want to be portrayed as someone who may be considered dusty at all. In fact, folks, when I'm inside and I'm on the camera with you guys, this is the only time you catch me outside wearing hoodies. When I walk out the door, I really don't like to wear hoodies. Or maybe if I travel to a particular area of New York, just to say that I can walk in those areas and I won't initially be looked at with a sore thumb, because that's how the general culture dresses in those areas. So you fit in to blend in, quite frankly, because you don't want to be looked at as a target. I get people doing that, but just taking care of yourself, just making sure that you look good, wherever you go out. Because think about it, She's also talking about a guy who is someone that she picked. Don't we say that when we're in relationship with each other that when you go out into the street, you're also a reflection of your partner? I thought that was a thing. I know constantly when my girl walks out, she asks me how she looks. And yes, guys, women just like they do. They're not like, how do I look? Whatever. Look. But also, it's the idea that I don't want to walk outside and someone that I do know that knows me, whatever, like that they're going to be like, yo, his girl was looking like trash. She looked crazy. They look like they need a couple of dollars. They look like some struggle was going on. Like that's not the kind of thing that we're looking for. So the idea that she would be like, oh, well, this is what I'm currently thinking based on stereotypes. It's just what it is. There are talking points and there are narratives being placed already out there. And then to look at her echo chamber of other people that will turn around and feed on that, she questions him. But I always say she's questioning the look. She does not actually question the behavior that he's giving her. He could just be mirroring her to make her feel comfortable. People do that. Or he should always have stoic, never say shit, keep his mouth shut, always bucking up. Is that your frame of what men are? Hey, Raw B, thanks for showing up. Thank you for showing up. Like, is that what it is? I don't know. But this is the kind of mindset that I'm already thinking that she has in her head.
Other people telling me, friends and family, like when I when I introduced him to them, and like later they're like, oh, he like they'll laugh at me. This guy Chris met, he started to hang with him a lot. When he gets off work, he'll go play the game over there like for hours, or he'll come to my house and I'll be gone. I'll come back and he's there, and it's like, why do you spend so much time with him? When you get off work, I want to spend time with you, but he's always with him. One time we wanted to do like a little family thing. We wanted to go to the pool, so I was like, okay, let's go. And he was like, I think we should invite the guy friend that he has. And I was like, I don't want him to come. So he was like, okay. We went to the pool. We having fun. In my head, I'm
Sounds like
thinking he
jealousy.
texted the dude because he come walking. And I looked at Chris. I'm like, did you tell him to come? Did you text him? He was like, no, I didn't. Chris, he took a lot to take the test because I wanted to know if he's gay. So he wanted to prove to me, and I took a lot to take the test because I want to prove to him that I'm not doing anything because he believes that I'm just out here doing things. I'm not.
You're questioning the very man that you picked, right? Because at the end of the day, you you both you both selected each other, right? And because you both selected each other, rather than you worrying about the influences that come from other people, right? Now you're in your mind because other people have said that they also have a rigid ideal of what they believe men should be. Because let's be honest, the man wasn't walking around with baggy pants, his pants basically hanging off his ass. He didn't have, you know, his hair all fucked up. He didn't like he looked to me like an average guy. I never heard this guy speak or anything yet. But at the same time, I will say this, sweetheart, you also chose him. So what does that say about your particular, you know, mindset when it comes to you picking an actual mate? Now you're also stating that he's going out of his way, not that he needs to, but he's going out of his way to prove to you that he's not gay because quite frankly, he's already picked up on it. Because either of you have already said it to him or already asked him the question of whether he was, or someone in your family, someone in your circle who should not be walking up to him and saying shit. So there's also a thing about whether you've actually had this conversation or whether actually defended this man in public. Um, Now if this is just my personal take on this guy. If she is just uncomfortable with being him because she's too busy worried about outside influences, she should break up with him. Solid, just on that. She shouldn't have been doing this long dance around. I'm thinking about it in terms of in terms of no good deed goes undone. Even if he was to, quote, do all of this extra work for you, madam, even if he was to go about proving that he is actually a heterosexual man, right? Would it stop the behavior that he's already doing that, quote, your friends and family already find questionable? Would the results of whatever he's going on this show for really ever be enough for you? Because it sounds like you already made your mind up. And we're early into this video. So I want to know if there's an actual result to all this. Not just his results, but also what's her actions going to be moving forward. And why wouldn't he have his friends around? Is he supposed, again, is the narrative that he's supposed to be stoic and a loner and basically don't say shit until basically it needs to be said? Because there are a lot of men that are out there like that. Was that conducive of all men? You said, Robert, you said you love it when a man and his have an opinion that healthy relationships that leads to help. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, you're right. There are people who do have attachment issues, but I'm not sure that's what she's experiencing. But I do agree that there are friends, both male and female, that do have attachment issues. Because I know of women that their friends were around all the goddamn time, and I'm just like, Jesus, can I get a fucking break? I thought I lived in this place, like, and had to have that conversation. Now, typically that wind off a little bit, and of course, there's a little bit of there was a little bit of a discussion that had to be back and forth, but eventually the point was made and well understood. But I'm not even sure if they really had that conversation, just based on what she's stating. We weren't in all of their conversations, but it sounds like he's out there chilling. He's with someone that he likes to chill with because everybody's got like their best friend or whatever. But when she came in, she just thought that he should just kick everybody out the way so that he could be up under her. And I don't know any relationship that really does that. Personally speaking.
I'm loyal. I stay home with the kids every day. I take care of them. I don't.
But based on what she said, I don't think that her loyalty is the thing that's in debate. Now, we got to hear from him. But I don't think that her loyalty is the thing that's being questioned. It's whether he's loyal, because let's just be honest, if she's already questioning whether she thinks the guy is gay, then that means she's questioning also whether he's sleeping with a friend. Let's just be honest. Like, that's just what it is.
Have a time, or I don't want to. I don't want to, be involved with no one else because I love him. I want to be with him.
So, Christopher, you're here to prove that you're not gay.
Yeah, I'm here to prove I'm not gay.
Why does anybody have to prove
It's crazy,
that?
right?
Yeah, it is.
Exactly.
But that's your girlfriend on the table.
Yeah.
How long you been with her?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
And I got to imagine you have sex with her. You have a kid together, right?
Yeah, we have
So
sex.
why in the world would you think that you're gay?
They have a child.
Well, I think it's somebody in her ear that's putting specific thoughts in her ear. That's one. And two, it's like, I honestly don't understand, because the times that she brings up, like the pool incident, like we see him walking around plenty of times, just walking around the apartment. So it's like you randomly see him, and he saw us, so he's like, hey, I might as well stay. Let me go get my son. He comes back. And
He's got a son.
Yeah, he has a son as well. That's originally how we met, because we had moved into the apartments, and I didn't really know anybody over there. So I wanted some guy friends, some people I could relate to, some
Sure.
people with kids, and somebody I could vent to as well. But yeah, so he came to the pool, and I could just instantly sense her energy. It's like off. It's like, now she's not trying to talk to me. Now she's all quiet. And now she's trying to distance herself away from me. Like first we were all up on each other at the pool. Now she's all the way over here.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, what's going on?
How did you?
So, from his point of view, he's trying to be sociable so that he doesn't come off as being someone who's, quote, a loner or a weirdo. And he actually takes into account that he needs to have friends, so he finds like-minded, similar people in the situation he's in. He's a father. The person that apparently they talk about is a father. But the moment she sees any form of interaction from him with other males, she's pretty much distancing herself from his point of view. But in her mind, he hangs out with the same person all the time. And even before that, she was still questioning his sexuality, even though they have a child together. And this is the classic conversation that we also hear within the community about men being on the down low, because there is this character picture of what men are and how they should look at all times, but that standard doesn't face in reality because, like I said, we're in a multicultural nation where many men have many backgrounds as to what they how they are providing or how they're perceived within their own cultural dynamics. What does that say about, I guess, her perception of cultural dynamics when it comes to, of not just her but also the people that she stated are also pulling into all this stuff? How do they see things, and can she say that all men have been like that? Because if we want to talk about cultural dynamics and we're going to talk about what men are like, especially if I'm going to talk about the community, then technically he shouldn't even be around, right? Because the negative stereotypes that black men don't stick around, which is also bullshit. And there's a matter of stats that prove these things. But I think it's rather crazy that someone that you picked, never mind laid down with, never mind produced a child with, you're later on questioning as gay. If you have all these issues, you should be looking towards separation. You state you love him, but you're stating that this is a problem to the point where he needs to prove these things to you. Will you even believe the lie detector test? That's what's in my mind.
You find out that she thought you were gay.
Oh, Steve. Oh, man, it started 6 months ago. Well, I'm not going to say 6 months. It started in the summer. We went on the best of terms. We had an argument, about, it's always little petty stuff with us. But it was an argument. We went a few days without talking, So, I hit him up. I was like, hey, bro, you got a minute? Can we go vent? He said, all right, let's go to the pool. So we went to the pool. It's nice outside. It's hot. Everybody outside playing, right? So we're like, why don't we bring the kids? We come back. I come back in. And so, I asked her because at this moment in time, we weren't really talking, but we were co-parenting.
Yeah.
So I still felt like I needed to ask her, can we bring the kids? Because he also has 2 other children, not just our 9-month-old, but I treat them all like my own. So I asked her, Destiny, can I take the kids to the pool with me and bro? And she said, yeah, just don't do anything weird around my kids.
Like what?
Like what? Like what do you?
Isn't it also his kids? Don't do anything weird with my kids. Isn't it also, number one, his kids? And why wouldn't he want the best for his kids to think that, what are we saying? Why do you believe this man would not have the best interest of what's going on with his child? And not just his child, but I guess like the child of the guy who's also got a child there. What exactly is being said here? And now, beyond that, we're talking about trust, because now I personally see that as a trusting. It's a little weird.
You talking about what are you trying to get at? And she's not answering. She's not answering.
Don't start about the pool.
Literally. And so he had went to go get his son.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm taking a long time because we're back and forth. So he walks by the door. She's like, there go your little boyfriend. So, so I just left. I left and I was heated. I was mad. I was furious.
But did she ever come out and say, hey, I think you're gay?
So that happened. I came back from the pool. And, I'm trying.
I know that's happened. I know she's come out straight out and just, if she didn't ask him, then she just straight out said, man, you gay. Something like that, either during an argument or whatever. An argument, a big disagreement, whatever, or she did it in joking. Because I hate that shit. The being inquisitive, but I was just joking in case he acts up. Like the little what they call shit test, the little tactics, like I know that was already done to him just on how he was already talking about it. So I know he's going to cop to the fact that she's already said that before.
Hey, I think you're gay.
So that happened. I came back from the pool and, I'm trying to get to the bottom of things. I'm like, what's going on? Like, why are you saying this? Why are you saying that? And bottom line, she felt like I was giving him attention that she deserved. That simple.
I just got to ask, are you gay?
No, I'm not.
yeah,
And there's nothing wrong with being gay,
No.
but that's just not me.
No, of course there's nothing
Yeah,
wrong
there's
with it.
nothing wrong with that.
But if you're in a heterosexual relationship and you're not telling somebody that you are having same-sex, you know, that would be wrong.
And
if
that's
you're
not fair
covering
to
up.
her.
Right.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be fair to anybody. Do you think that she's cheating? Because, listen, you know, it'd be like my wife looking at me and saying, I think you're gay.
So he actually has a little bit of reservation in whether he believes that his woman is being faithful, even though she claimed that she is. So the accusation, let's just go on the books right now from what we've heard. The accusation is that he might be gay. The accusation from not just from her side of it, but from what she perceives as her family and friends was also indicated this as well. She has no actual proof. There's been no proof. It's all been speculatory. He hangs out with his friends too much. We have heard of one guy. He says that he's basically been on his own. He doesn't really have any other males to hang with. I don't see a problem with that. So he finds like-minded people to spend time with. He even lists with people who have kids themselves. Again, I'm not seeing any problem with it. He states openly he's not gay, even though he's not been only, let's be honest, he's probably been accused by the family and friends too, whatever. But he's been accused by his significant other of being gay, although they share a child together. And she says that she still loves him, whatever. I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to see in the future what might be the actual thing, right? That will actually be in the spot right now where they will come to something being better off for the future. Because I would love to know what's going to be the future results of all of this, right? And now he wonders whether she's actually faithful. So now there is a question of, is she projecting all of this because it's guilt? Because we know that guilty people have an issue actually projecting things as well. Could this be used as a barometer for whether she wants to use this as a straw man or an argument to get out of the relationship? It would still be difficult because they both share a child together. But one could only guess.
Like, she knows I'm not gay.
Yeah.
When she says this, how does it make you feel?
It makes me furious, Steve.
Yeah.
It makes
Hey,
me
Monica.
furious.
Do you love her?
I love her with everything in my heart. Like, I told her, she's my soulmate. I love that girl so much. I do.
Yeah. And listen, what's the definition of a man, right? Like, you know,
Yeah.
oh, well, you're not acting manly, or okay, you like to dress well, and, you know, you ask her opinion. My wife does every morning.
Yeah.
She comes to work, she's like, hey, how do I look, you know?
And who doesn't want to look good, you know?
Right. I mean, if you have a little pride in yourself, you want to look good, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm saying, like, you know, the old stereotypes of, you know, John Wayne and all this, like, that's not, to me, is the definition of a man. Like, for me, the definition of man is like a guy that's not a bum, that goes to work, raises his family, is there for his family. That, to me, is a man. And I don't care, you know.
Chris, it's like
Really?
I can't help
Really?
how I feel. I can't.
But it's like we've been together 2 years. 2 years,
I
Nick.
understand.
So it's like, if you feel like I'm gay, why are you still with me? That's what I'm trying
Because I do love you. I do love you, and sometimes I try to suppress the feelings, but they just come back when you do certain
But it's
stuff.
like, what is giving you this feeling?
You've been with the guy for 2 years.
Right.
In those 2 years, have you had a lot of sex?
At the beginning.
In the
Okay, well, that's an interesting. Well, that's not an. I don't want to know the answer, but this is this whole. How much sex is enough sex, right? And that's not a question I really want to dive into because, quite frankly, people throw out their best ambassadors when they first meet somebody. So even in the beginning, just to get the relationship going, there might be a lot of sex. But keep in mind that they're also now busy because they also have a child to look after. I can say that within all relationships, especially when you have children involved, sex tends to drop off. Was she expecting it? Was she expecting Pound Town all the time? Even when the child was born, Pound Town all the time? Hmm? Oh, the child's waking up. Oh, the child's screaming in the other room. It's your turn. No, it's your turn. All right. And he hops off of her because they were already pounding. Is that what was going on? Send the little kid back to sleep, do a little playtime, dangle the little shit in front of the little kid so the kid goes to sleep and go back and just go back to the guts. Is that? Of course not. What is the portrayal of men that's being put out here that she has in her head? Because more than likely, I'm wondering, because this is what's in my mind. This is what I'm sensing just from her behavior. That before anyone really said anything to her, she had already cast that out to the people that she's around. And what they just did was feed off the information that she gave, because she didn't give any other information, and they ran with it. It's like talking bad in your relationship. All the people know is just the bad things that you mention. You don't mention all the good stuff. So that means you don't mention all the times where he was, quote, acting masculine, whatever the fuck that is in your head. You mentioned all the things, all your icks. You didn't mention anything else. So all your surrounding, all those people just have nothing but icks. And you're feeding into that, because now when you're at your most safest point, they're mentioning all your icks. When you mention good things about this man, whether he could be a great father, or he did this with the daughter or whatever, and they're just like, of course he did that with the daughter. The guy's gay, right? And what can you say, young lady, because you put that out there. You cast that net out there. It's the only thing you're going to be drawing in, because you created a narrative about this man. You can't be mad that the very circles that you're around are talking negatively about him, because the same points that they're using, the talking points, were the things that you gave them. Just saying. Of course they're going to feed you what you are. You left all the snacks out. Why wouldn't they feed you? It's a dangerous thing. Now not, let's be honest, you set yourself up, and you set your relationship up for disaster. You literally tarnished your relationship. You literally put this dark cloud over your own relationship. Because it's one thing if this would have been in your head and you never said ish to anyone else, but you put that out there. So now you're not just dealing with your own opinions, which could have been sorted out between you and him. You could have done a counseling. You could have done a whole lie detector test, whatever, on your own, sorted it all out, had a big argument, said it, or even if it didn't work out because it was just too much in your head, you could have split amicably, and it would have been over with. But you told other parties, which didn't feed into what could be a delusion. Because my thing at the end of the day, well, like I just said earlier, what happens when it's proven that he's not? And let's just say if it is, he's got some explaining to do. But we don't even know the questions that are going to be asked. Again, you say, Contrary, you say, unless she's right. Well, we don't know yet. But the fact of the matter is that, let's just say we don't know, and let's just say she's right. Now, what does that say about her? She picked this man. She laid down with this man. She produced a child. Just saying. I want people to still think about this, because it's easy to cast a dispersion. It's easy to point fingers at one particular individual. But let's just be honest. While she's pointing fingers at him, she's the one that started doing everything. We didn't hear that he ever pointed fingers at her for anything. Now he's wondering whether she's faithful or not, because all she's done is accuse him over a 2-year relationship with a child. I agree, but that's not what took place now, did it? And it's hard that once you say something, that people don't turn around and use that same ammunition that they gave them. You gave me the gun. Why wouldn't I shoot it? Just saying. And now we're in a situation where, quite frankly, you reap what you sow. You might have thought that you confiding in other people about that kind of stuff. And let's be honest, I'll just be honest in saying it. I see a lot of young ladies that are not very good at picking friends, picking people to talk to. They're not very good at it. The same people that they claim that their most closest confidants are the ones that are using information against them. And again, I'm not even going to do the not all police, but we see enough of it. I see enough of it just in real life. Fuck social media. Social media is just a big, it throws it in your face. And especially because if you're not paying attention to it, it can go viral. Because I'm damn for sure I'm not going to believe that the majority of women out there are going haktua. Not at all. But as far as talking, as far as bringing up things that shouldn't be talked about, as far as letting the wrong people or whether whether you think they have good intentions or not, know intimate things about your relationship is a bad idea. I get it if you need a confidant, but you need to. She didn't say one person. She didn't say my best friend, my one person. She said my friends, plural, and family. Against, it was literally a one on multiple fights. I wouldn't even feel sorry for this man if he just gave in, and just said, I want out. Because I can't fight everybody. Because let's just say after all this works out, let's just say he's straight. Do you think that's going to change the opinion of everybody that she told? Or will he always have to walk around with that cloud over his head? Think about it.
But that's every relationship, right? When you first meet somebody, man, you're tearing it up all the time, right?
Right.
But then,
what I said.
But then you realize you got to come back to earth a little bit because you got to work, you're raising kids. So there's not always all the time to have sex all the time, right?
Right.
That's every relationship in the history of the world, right?
Right.
You start out, and then it slows down a little. Okay. So do you really, in your heart, believe that he's gay?
I don't want to believe it, but it's like when people put stuff in my head, and then I have dreams as well. I have dreams as well. Wow. And it's like,
who's putting stuff in your head that you didn't, okay, guys. Is it, for people, when you're in a relationship, you might be single, you may not be single, but the principle still stands. Is it not your business to help dispel or defend your relationship? Yeah, yeah, she a witch. She got dreams. She got premonitions. Absolutely. Is it not your job to help dispel rumors, to defend your partner? And some people have, real intimate conversations or whatever. And some things even might not be appropriately said. But then when those things get put back to you, it's like, you know what, girl, I was tripping. I did say it because it was in my mind. Maybe she said some disparaging things to her friends and family. Well, it shouldn't have been that many people, but to whatever people, and just saying, I was bugging. We had a talk. It was really my mind. I don't want you guys to hate him. It was her job to repair that relationship with them about him. I don't think she did that. I don't believe that she did that. Now she's talking about having dreams. And why wouldn't you have extra dreams? Because the people that you're talking to are going to add on to that. You might be like, yo, I think I saw your man at CVS. Some other guy was standing real close to him behind in the line. I'm not saying that they was doing anything. I'm just saying he felt awfully comfortable with this guy basically breathing behind him. It's just small, dumb shit like that that can add up. I'm just saying. And let's just be honest. If you're going this far to put this man on public talk show, despite the fact that he did all this and he really shouldn't have, you believe he's gay. Don't say you don't know. You have dreams, goddammit. You believe he's gay. You have no proof, but you feel it. It's your woman's intuition that he's gay. Not that I have a problem with gay people. Not that he should not even have, quote, gay friends. It's weird. Let's find out what happens.
But dreams are dreams. They're
Right.
not real.
Exactly.
Okay, why are people chirping in your ear saying he's gay?
Because that's what he come off as to them. I guess he come off like that to
So
me
why do you
sometimes.
care what other people say?
I
though?
don't care, but
they're affecting your thinking.
Yes.
You're right.
Is he like this guy comes across as a really nice, caring guy? He's a teacher. Talks about he's good with all your kids, right? Like you have
He's
kids
a
from
teacher.
previous relationships,
Right.
And he's good to them.
Yes.
And he's a wonderful father to his own child.
Yes, they all love him.
What? Okay. He provides.
Yes.
He comes home, brings the check home.
Yes.
Is he kind to you?
Yes.
Is he nice to you?
Yes.
What else are you looking for?
Literally.
You hit the jackpot.
Yo.
Plus,
So this man literally just told you everything I was already stating earlier. You're poisoning your own well. You're not happy of the fucking meal that you have sitting at your table. The meal is good. The meal is good. So what are you doing?
how about all the women out there that are married to slobs? Guys wearing a white T-shirt, don't care about how they look.
I can't make it go away. It's just there. I don't want to feel like this. I
But a
don't.
lot-
So, Conshonery, there goes the crux of my entire thing, though. Do we not live in a nation that's full of so many different men out there and so many different cultures of men? Does it say that you have to be rough in order to be considered a man? And if so, show me the leather-bound book. Show it. He's doing everything that we, quote, have said that we've not even said, but the things that we hear that men are supposed to be doing. You say he's a little bit feminine. Is he doing his job, quote, as a man? For what I hear, the answer is a resounding yes. Who cares otherwise? If he was a little bit feminine, but he still went to war or he still served his country or whatever, does any of that other shit matter? He's doing his job. He's providing for his family. Where do we draw the line? And we look at the meat of the matter. Where do we draw that distinction? How far do we say you're never man enough? Where's the line? He's saying he's not gay. Until we prove otherwise, we still got a little bit more of this. Where's the line? So not doing your job is not good enough? Where's the line, ladies and gentlemen? Where's the line? How far do we keep going? How far do we keep moving the goalposts before we start adding up scores? How far? I'm just saying. Let's go.
I detect the test will make it go away.
It'll go away. It'll go away
You
completely.
won't have any more doubts
I
that
will
he's
never bring
gay.
it up again.
Okay.
Never.
And what if he is
Alright.
gay?
Then I have to leave him.
Then you have to go.
I
You
have
gotta
to.
go.
Yeah. Are you cheating?
No, of course not. I love him. I'll never.
You see yourself long term with this guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Hey,
But did she cop up to get a polygraph? Same way he's got to get a polygraph? Just saying, she heard in the background now that he might be a little suspicious. Just want to know.
listen. You've seen the show, right? We get a lot of bums on this stage, right?
yeah.
Guys that don't
Oh,
take
yeah.
care of their kids, they're mean to their women, abusive, drugs, alcohol, all of it, right?
Right.
He's got nothing against him, man. Feeling pretty good now?
I'm a cat, bro.
I already kind of, it's like 99% of me knows he's not, but it's just that 1% because like,
You don't have 99 problems.
Thank you.
I just gotta say, man, if you fail your lie to take the test,
Oh man.
I might have to kick your ass. Okay. All right, Destiny, you came here and you took a lot. lie detector test.
That's not a good sign.
While in a relationship with Christopher, have you had sexual contact with any other men? You answered no. While in a relationship with Christopher, had you had sexual intercourse with any other men? You answered no. And the result for your test is that you...
I know I told the truth, Steve.
You did tell the truth.
Yeah.
You did.
Okay. I give you that. All right, I give you that. Okay. I give you that. You got me on that one.
Two parts. Your test is broken up in 2 parts.
Okay.
Whether you slept with women and whether you slept with men.
Okay.
You're cheating on her.
Okay.
So we asked Christopher 2 parts. While in a relationship with Destiny, have you had sexual intercourse with any other woman? He answered no. While in a relationship with Destiny, have you had sexual contact with any other woman? He answered no. The result of those 2 questions came back the same, and it came back that Christopher told the truth.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So I wonder if the question, all right, well, we have to go through the dog and pony show, but at the end of the day, she got the results she's looking for, which could have been done privately instead of being in a public audience and to the world. But now what is she going to be able to do? Not be able, but what is she going to do to now dispel the magic that's been done to her close family and friends? Because while the general audience can turn around and say that, what do you get to the haters? What do you get to the naysayers that turn around and say he could have faked the polygraph? I don't believe it because because shows pay people. There's always someone who's willing to move the goalposts. What do you do now to defend the actual results that were given to you? Do you just brush it off and just let them hang the same way how we just let one of the uncles that touch kids hang in the fucking family reunion? Or do you take fucking action? Do you take action and say, girl, we've been together since the fucking playground, but I can't have you talk about my man like that. Yes, I had this fucking feeling about whatever, but that's just dispelled, and I can't have you talking that shit. Are you really gonna go to bat for your relationship now? Because we talk about what we keep hearing in these damn spaces are about unity in relationships, and I'll even just say for this one, black love. Not that I think it's any damn special. Will you go to bat for your relationship? Because even a stranger, while you're on his show, has told you that you hit the fucking jackpot. But that 99%, but that 1% was enough for her to cause dominoes dropping, possibly dropping. She had that 1% could have caused the house of cards to come down. Just saying. Are you going to be willing to go to bat now? Are you willing to be able to fight all the demons that you created? Because you got to eat crow now. And I'll tell you, like I tell a lot of people, if you have to eat crow, please do it while it's warm and tender. Don't wait till it gets cold. That's a bitch to eat.
Have you ever had sexual contact with a man? He answered no. Have you ever had sexual intercourse with a man? He answered no. And the result for those 2 questions is that Christopher, he told the truth.
But why is he crying? Why is he crying? What the hell?
I told you. I got to ask a question. Were some of these people that were chirping here, were they women? Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know why they were doing that? Because they probably want that guy for themselves. like I said, this is what we want all our sons to be, is this guy right here.
You're right.
You know? He's a good dude.
He is.
Yeah.
He is.
So stop listening to the whispers.
I won't. No more. I'm
Okay?
done.
Good luck to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Can you relate to this story? Go to
And while there's probably not a whole lot of people who will quote to relate to that story, let's be honest, we've heard a lot of talk that happened like that within all kind of sectors of the internet. Whether you are a person on TikTok, whether you're a person on YouTube, I don't know so much about Rumble, but it's most likely it'll be on Rumble. But like, it's a tough thing that happens, and I'm even gonna say that it's a tough narrative that a lot of men, I'll just say black men in particular, deal with. And the reason why I'll even highlight and say black men in particular is because my general perception of things is that there's not a whole lot that you can, quote, shame black men for. Now, when I say the highest shame that I tend to hear, whether it's in public, whether I hear it in the streets in arguments, whether I hear it in a bar over a fight, or even when I hear it on these internets, right? It's either the man is broke, so therefore he's not someone who's able to provide, or he's gay, or he's suspected to have been gay. It seems to be the biggest things that tend to be put up against men. Like I said, black men in particular. Now, I don't know if it means that there's just need to be a stronger push to dispel that, because I've even heard the whole aspect of the majority of these men are gay or on the down low. And then you look at the stats, because I'm a person that likes stats. Absolutely incorrect. The same way how people will turn around and then say, like, the majority of black men born in relationships are single mothers, which is absolutely incorrect. It's not correct. Are there a lot of men that are born with single mother households? Absolutely. But that is not the majority of the population. It's not. We need to look at the particular narratives and talking points that we see that gets pushed out into the spaces, and we really need to combat it. I mean, not for nothing, but I see a lot of these channels that they do open panels. But the crowd is so eager to see the dumpster fire, and because you hear it so often propagated, that you tend to believe it. Even when you turn around and say, I don't believe that, I don't believe that, I don't believe that, you know what happens over time when you keep visiting channels that keep doing that? Without you consenting, without you even acknowledging or even noticing it, you become indoctrinated. When I see there's a particular thing that I don't agree with, you know what I do? I do research. I do research. I look it up. I find the areas that I need to. I question and I go down a rabbit hole. You may not even see me online for a couple of days because I need to make sure that that's something I really drive home. Because while conversation rules a nation, a lot of people are fools because the things that they talk about, they hear from other people. They don't actually do a lot of research themselves. And this is a matter of foolishness versus wisdom. And a lot of people, especially on the internet, especially in real life, are fools. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I could make a whole video where, quite frankly, and probably I should, now that I'm thinking about it right now, I could probably do a whole big thing where I sit around and just talk to people about the things that they believe to be true, but have done absolutely no research on. For instance, she's had a relationship. This young lady had a relationship with this guy 2 years. They had turned to have a child, right? Her intentions for getting with him and everything else might have been good, but it would ultimately lead to failure if she did not, quote, do this damn polygraph test. It was even brought up to random strangers. You got so many good things. But she listened to the sisterhood, right? She said it herself. It was mainly women that pushed it in their mind. Because while people don't want to admit it, there is a big push for women to say that they don't need men, which, to be honest, is a whole lot of things, especially in a lot of different cultures. But it really gets hammered home when it comes to my people. And it's a dangerous narrative. It really is. There is no interrelationship. There's nothing about two people relying on each other. It's who has dominance over who. And it's a bad thing. It's a terrible thing to believe that we should pick sides, that we can't find the medium. And I just say because people are not being intentional and they're not paying attention. And the thing about this whole thing about intentionality, what I meant well, will ultimately still lead to dangerous situations, to dangerous outcomes. Because your intentions, while they may be in good nature, are also selfish ones. And because the nature of it being selfish, it will ultimately lead to your ruin. It will ultimately lead to mistrust. It will ultimately lead to betrayal. I don't know anyone who has turned around and said this. I have never been in a situation where I've done good things for people and they didn't take it the wrong way. Everybody has experienced that at least once so far. There's such a saying as no good deed goes undone, because there's consequences to everything, good and bad. We, as a nation of just the Western culture itself, we need to get better when it comes to speaking about how we wish to push our culture and our nation forward based on wisdom and not just intentions. Even when you have these talks about people who are sitting at the very top, you want to call them the wealthy, the most influential, the elite. Even they make so many fallacies and so many mistakes in the decisions that they're doing for other people, because they're thinking that they're doing it with noble intentions and they're not doing it off of wisdom. And the opposite of wisdom is foolishness. Good intentions can definitely fall by the wayside, especially when we have this world of virtue and greed, selfishness. Everyone is selfish. People like to believe that they're selfless. They're definitely selfish. Even the virtuous, even the people who are virtuous don't know what real virtue is. You being virtuous is not out there, doing protests and rallies. That's not it. You know what real virtue is? Having gratitude for the fact that you can actually see. You have eyes that you can actually see. Better yet, you can see in color. Most people are not gracious of the things that are already given to them. They're not. The fact that you can hear, the fact that we can speak in the way, we even come to the point where people are talking about, well, if I could change the past, why? Why not be very happy with the world that you live in now? Because I can guarantee you right now, you don't want to live in the past. The past sucked. You don't have nearly as many good things that you have in the past. I'm a kind of person that I would rather visit the future than visit the past, because at least I can see what is to come and I can try to influence whatever I can. But going to the past changed nothing for my present. All I can do is make possibly more mistakes. Because why? The people who tend to want to go into the past do it with the idea of having good intentions. This is why they say it's the butterfly effect. The people that go by and do the wrong shit that messes it up for everyone else, because they had good intentions. And we see it in our media. People that think that they're trying to go for the gotcha moment and they didn't do their due diligence. Foolishness versus wisdom. I'm just saying. And a good example of that is recently when I was looking at a conference. Was it a conference? Yeah, you could say it was a conference where Tucker Carlson was actually there, and he was being actually spoken to by journalists in Australia. And I thought it was crazy. And here goes Zoomer with his booty hole brown, of course. Of course. Yeah. You're absolutely right. The reason why I say no good deed goes undone is because not everybody looks at it that way, and I use that term for people who are not religious. But yes, you're absolutely right. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. That's where the original is from. That's what I've originally heard. And most people are just, like I said, not grateful of the very things that they have. That they just getting up is a virtue in itself. Being able to walk is a virtue. So waking up is a virtue in itself. Looking at getting up and being in your looking at your bank account and always knowing that you're able to take care of everything's going on is a virtue in itself. But we overlook so many things. We overlook so many simple things. And I was definitely one, and I definitely do it from time to time. Definitely do it. I would say I do it more often than not because I'm just as normal as anybody else. But I do acknowledge it when I can take the time and really sit there to myself and look at the world around me. Not look behind, but I look at the world around me. And that's just it. And then we can see things like how this journalist is, who, quite frankly, slammed. Because anyone who ever looked at anything that Tucker Carlson has been doing or even saying, they tried to hold him to this big thing. And I know this big coup now that basically is trying to come after Tucker because, quite frankly, he got left from CNN, but most of all, because he got the chance to sit down with Putin. And they've been trying to get him ever since. And I'm just like, let's just say one day someone's able to slip him up in something. What are you proving? Do you think it's really going to hurt him? The man's independent. What do you think you're really going to do to him? He's not in political office. Come on now. Get your shit together.
He's so bad.
And I also appreciate that.
Did he make you take the COVID shot?
Take the what?
The COVID shot? Oh, yeah,
And
definitely.
probably
Safe and effective. This is why everyone loves the media.
Probably 100 times more lives than Putin has killed in Ukraine.
It's like a time capsule. It's like...
Thanks, Tucker. I saw a couple of our friends from the press gallery have a smile when you were getting into the free press. So I might ask Paul Sakal from the Sydney Morning Herald to ask a question.
Great. Thank you.
Well, you've almost... Thanks for your speech.
Of course.
Mr. Carlson. The media can be extremely negative, so it's nice to hear uplifting comments about our country.
It's an amazing country.
It is, and I think we forget that in Australia oftentimes, so I appreciate that. You've preempted my question on Putin.
Putin! Putin!
I think you did strategically because you knew it's what we'd ask.
Putin! He's so bad!
And I also appreciate that...
Did he make you take the COVID shot?
Take the what?
The COVID shot? No, he didn't. Sorry.
The COVID shot saved probably tens of millions.
Oh, yeah,
and
definitely.
But did it though? Did it? Did it really save lives when you had to turn around and get multiple vaccines and multiple boosters? Did it really save a whole lot of lives when you consider the death toll that people had? Did it really save a lot of lives? How many senior citizens perished at the hands of COVID? How many people who were having immune diseases because maybe they had freaking asthma or whatever? Did it really save a lot of people's lives? Because it's not, it is, quote, a vaccine, but it didn't inoculate a damn thing because you had to keep getting different rounds. So I don't understand why people were still pushing to say that it did so much. It didn't. There are plenty of people today who never took it and they're fine.
Definitely. Safe and effective. This is why everyone loves the media.
Probably 100 times more lives than Putin has killed in Ukraine.
It's like a time capsule. It's like you're like the last Japanese soldier on Okinawa. You think the war's still going. No, it didn't save millions of lives. It's hilarious. Sorry, I'm sorry. I'm being boorish.
Can I get the full answer in without interruption?
Okay, I beg your pardon.
I'm interested in your position on Putin. Many people in this crowd would adore conservative prime ministers in this country like John Howard, Tony Abbott, mainstream right-wingers like Boris Johnson, Australian Liberals, some of their MPs are in the crowd, are vehemently anti-Putin. They believe he's a reprehensible figure who doesn't believe in the values of conservatism, such as the rule of law and democracy, which gives us the freedoms we have in our country. I'm interested, do you feel any level of shame or regret that you were termed a useful idiot?
Shame? Why would he feel shame? It's not like he lives in Russia. It's not like he's from Russia or like it's his country. Why would he feel shame? He at the beginning and end of the day, he's a journalist. So why wouldn't he take an opportunity to interview a man considerably one of the most powerful men in the nation? Who wouldn't want to figure out what the hell's going on with that? Why should he feel shame for getting an opportunity? You make it seem like he defected. You made it seem like all of a sudden he's a goddamn spy. Like, people, like, that's an idiotic fucking question. It really was.
And then post your interview, Vladimir Putin himself said in his Russian media that he was surprised at how weak your questions were. And he also said that you were wrong when you said that no other journalist had asked to interview him. He said, that's not true. We only thought Tucker was the only person to report fairly.
Wait, I thought that you were describing Putin as a psychopathic liar, and yet now you're taking his word for things?
Do you...
I mean, but let me just quickly unpack your absurd soliloquy if I can.
Got him.
First, I'm stuck on the idea that Boris Johnson is a right-winger. Do you know Boris Johnson? I do. Boris Johnson is a criminal buffoon who, like so many who claim to love Ukraine, is single-handedly responsible for the deaths of hundreds of thousands of Ukrainian men in this war. How many more people does Russia have than Ukraine? Do you know?
Just let me know if you can hear me real quick. Something just happened real quick. Nope. Now it says my system is back up, so.
Of this conflict. And Boris Johnson is 100 million. And in a land where that's a relevant number, it is not possible for Ukraine to beat Russia. The best they can do is sue for peace. That's been known, including by Zelensky, who wanted that since the early days of this conflict. And Boris Johnson, on orders from the Biden administration, shut down, and this is not a disputed fact, this is a fact, admitted by everybody now, shut down the peace negotiations almost 2 years ago. And Ukraine has been completely destroyed. And now Zelensky has passed a law allowing foreign corporations to own land there. So you tell me what Ukraine is going to look like in 30 years when all of it is owned by BlackRock and multinational corporations and its population is not Ukrainian, okay? So the tragedy of what's happened in Ukraine, orchestrated by the Western powers, including your government, and I hope you do, and driven by my government, I feel shame about it, I hope you do too, is really one of the great crimes of my lifetime.
I think the journalists in there are really not doing their job. Like, whatever happened to real journalism? People are now just saying whatever they just need to say to try to get whatever narrative that they got going out there. Like, I thought as a journalist, you're supposed to do your due diligence, get all the work done, make sure you have particular points, fact check what's actually the stuff that's being said, and then you can challenge this individual. You don't just say, I heard something, oh, I don't like it, then run over and just start saying stuff. Like, that's just not how it worked. Like, Tucker did it again with another journalist that same day.
Tucker Carlson, who's here right now, there was a reporter who tried a gotcha question with him, and she was comprehensively embarrassed by the former Fox News host.
In the past, you've talked about how white Australians, Americans, Europeans are being replaced by non-white immigrants in what is often referred to as the Great Replacement Theory. This is the same...
Have I said that whites are being replaced?
Well...
I don't think I said that.
Well, it's been mentioned on your show 4,000 times. And
really, when did I say that?
On your show.
I said whites are being replaced?
You have said that before.
Really?
Yeah.
I would challenge you to cite that, because I'm pretty sure I haven't said that. I said native-born Americans are being replaced, including blacks.
Native-born Americans.
Native-born Americans.
And
Americans who, like black Americans, African Americans have been in the United States for, in many cases, their families over 400 years. And their concerns are every bit as real and valid and alive to me as the concerns of white people whose families have been there 400 years. So
So just Americans. It doesn't matter who you are, as long as you're an actual American citizen. That's exactly what he's talking about. I don't know. I don't disagree with that so far, but I don't know where she was trying to lean into that.
Never said that whites are being replaced. Not one time. And you can't
believe
cite
that's
it.
Untrue.
So we just met, but when our relationship starts with a lie, it makes it tough to be friends. So
well, you've been lying
let's
about
pull that back. I'm happy to explain what I do think.
So,
well, you actually can't say it because I didn't say it, and I don't believe it. And I'm telling you that to your face, so why don't you just accept me at face value? My concern is that the people who are born in the country are the main responsibility of its leaders. And as noted earlier, when those leaders shift their concern from the people whose responsibility it is to take care of to people around the world to put their priorities above that of their own citizens, that's immoral. And they are being replaced in my country, people who are born in the United States. And the birth rate tells the whole story. They are not at replacement rate. And so the U.S. population is growing because we're importing people from other countries. And my view is that happy people have children, and a functioning economy allows them to do that. And we don't have that. And so you need to fix the economy and fix the culture and make it so that people who want to have kids can. You don't just go for the quick sugar fix of importing new people. Like, that's my position. And if you think that's racist, that's your problem.
I never called you a racist.
But of course you
kind of did,
are
though.
Suggesting, and
well,
I must say, one of the reasons people don't like people like you in the media is that you never say exactly what you mean. Your slurs are all by implication, and you're about to tell me the Great Replacement Theory is racist or anti-Semitic, whatever. The whole point of your question was to be like, you're a scary racist.
Well, I haven't.
And my response is, no, I'm not. Okay, well, how about no more lying in your questions, and then I'll answer it.
Okay, well. This is the same theory, or as you say, idea, that has inspired the New York Buffalo shooting where 11 black Americans were killed. Two white Americans were killed.
She said
It's also
inspired.
It's not, first of all...
It's inspired the worst, one of the worst Australian guns
How do
of all
they get
time
people
to
this
shoot
stupid in the media? I guess it doesn't pay well. Look, I'm sorry. I've lived among people like you for too long, and I don't mean to call you stupid. Maybe you're just pretending to be, but...
Oh dear, Kosher, if you're going to show up and make outrageous claims and try to connect Tucker Carlson to mass killers, then, I don't know, perhaps go to the trouble of citing a source, have a direct quote.
Well, even the media we can see is absolutely up for the point where they just run with narratives. They have particular talking points. The media has always been one of the first people I looked at in terms of how people are moving and how people think and how easily they can be manipulated. Because you just have to hear something long enough. We've all seen the whole news thing where they all read the same word line for line in all of their, I can't even bother repeating it because I don't even know all the words, but how they all pretty much, regardless of what news syndicate, had pretty much said the entire thing. And it's subliminal messaging that you can easily get caught up on, the same way how you can say the talking points for everybody else. And this is why I think that when we get to a channel like this one, where you're allowed to have your opinions, but you need to be able to actually cite your source. Where did you get the information from? How old is it? I don't want to hear that it came from X creator doing X talking point, that they had it on the panel, that they were talking about other creators, because quite frankly, there are so many thought experiments that show that even when people know that something is wrong, in a group, they will cop to it. They will cop to it. If they're in a group of people that are all pretty much standing every time they hear a bell in a doctor's waiting room, They're looking around like, what the hell's everybody doing? But then after a time when people are doing it, they start getting up at the time they hear the bells as well, because it's a matter of conformity. And I ask you guys, I really, really do ask you guys, when you're going around, because I'm not going to tell you to stop going to your favorite creators or what you like to actually take a look at. But when you believe in a very specific narrative, ask yourself, are the things that you're thinking about really your thoughts? Or is it because you constantly hear this on a regular basis? Or did you get there because you're jaded? And if you are, when are you expecting to move on from that? When? Do you expect that you're going to be comfortable there all your life? You think that someone's going to wrap you in that narrative flag and put you in the corner and help care for you and nurture you, and you think that you can live there forever? At some point, you're going to have to get out in the rest of the world like everybody else. Because the problem that we have, and I say this quite a bit, is that instead of taking all of the stuff that you see in your real life, because most of the time when I have conversations with these people, they spend all their time online. From the moment they get up, they go to the bathroom, they take a shit, still with their phone in their hand. They go look for their favorite videos, creators, whatever, news, blogs, whatever, just to get a circle jerk. It's just echo chambers. And then instead of actually just saying, when is it going to be a time when I need to get over, when I need to get my shit together? Instead, they say, I need more back padding. I need for the world to tell me that the reason why I am dealing with X, Y, and Z situation is because it's not my fault. And we all know the real thing is, it doesn't have to be your fault, but it is your responsibility. The same way how I say to you guys that a lot of stuff that you hear in the narratives of the media, whatever, it's not your fault that you're being exposed to it, but it is your responsibility to understand the difference and know that when you back away from it, when you finally stop watching, when you go to lay down your head in the pillow, or whoever you're interacting with, when you're not on your phone, when you're not on your laptop or desktop, that is not the depiction of the world that you see. Because too many people take the world that they see on the online and they try to drag it by force and put that out into the real world. I have had plenty of people that when they expound all these talking points and I ask them, is this something that they see along their social circles or even when their family, they tell me no. And I say, so why are you opening your mouth and talking about that? Talking harshly about relationships when you're married doesn't make any sense to me. You have no dog in the fight. Telling me how difficult it is with politics and all of the policies and things going on, but you're telling me that you haven't voted for someone in the last 12 years, I have nothing to say to you. You shouldn't be talking because you don't have a dog in the fight. You don't. And we have people like that. It's okay that you have an opinion, but I don't think that you should have the mindset or the vitriol or even the morals to preach to other people what they should do when, quite frankly, you've taken no steps towards it yourself. I think before we start checking other people, we need to do a deep dive and look into the mirror. That's just my particular thoughts. But you tell me if you think I'm wrong. Whether you're looking at me now, you can take a look in the freaking chat, or you can actually catch us on the replay and you sit there and you tell me in the comment section. I read everything, so I'll have the talk with you. But if you're gonna write me a dissertation, please be sure to write it to my email. If you didn't know what it is, it's WreslaOpinionated@gmail.com. You can cite your sources and everything because I'm not going to make your argument for you. If it's your particular point, I need you to state what it is. Did you, sir? You know me. I put myself on mute when I'm going through stuff. So CCD, you said you sent me something, and it looks like you sent it to me on Instagram. So I'm gonna take a quick look at Instagram, and we'll see what this is about.
I think you guys are like also worried about the fact that there are people from other countries are coming in here and changing the culture.
Okay, so I already see what the title of this is. I don't know what it is. You know me, guys. I like to do all this stuff in real time. So let's have a look at what CCD has decided to donate to the stream today.
I think you guys are like also worried about the fact that there are people from other countries are coming in here and changing the culture of America.
Yes.
I think that's completely fine. Why would that
Oh,
be a
Jesse
problem?
Lee.
You think that's fine to change the culture of America?
Yeah.
If they do that, if we allow that, they're going to end up with the same kind of hellhole they left.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we got Jesse Lee.
That's interesting. I don't really know what the context of everything that they formulated, but I do believe he's kind of right about that. Let's just be honest. If you don't have discipline to be, and I'll just use it in terms of your house or your car or whatever. If you're a messy person, don't expect that when you move into somewhere else or you move in with another person, whatever, that you're going to just automatically not be a messy person. You have to put in actual habits to change your environment. So that's pretty much the way how I look at it. If you bring in messy people into your house and they've already proven to be messy in their house, expect the mess in your house is basically what he's saying. And I don't disagree with that.
Lee Peterson, and I love me some Jesse Lee Peterson. I find him funny. The guy speaks facts. I love these little chats today. He's
a little wild sometimes.
Seeker or somebody
He's a
who
little
used
wild.
to be an asylum seeker. I've not watched a clip yet, but let's get into it. I'll give you my thoughts on the back end.
You were granted asylum here in the U.S. Are you grateful for that?
Am I grateful for that? I feel more of like I'm kind of entitled to it. Like I.
Wait, pause. I need to hear that again. I need to hear that again. I need to make sure I heard that. So apparently the guy that they're speaking to right now, he's actually an asylum seeker. I need to hear that again because I need to make sure I don't misconstrue what the words were and how he's answering it.
You were granted asylum here in the U.S. Are you grateful for that?
Am I grateful for that? I feel more of like I'm kind of entitled to it.
Okay. Oh man, CCD, I swear you gonna try to trigger me today. You gonna try to trigger me. You gonna try to put something there that's gonna get me a little round up. I'm not gonna do it. I'm a hold strong. I felt my spidey senses already tingling. Woo! Entitled. Entitled. He quotes. He's entitled to be here. No, not. I'm gonna listen. I need to. Already triggered.
Like I so yeah. I wouldn't say grateful. So I'm just like yeah. You guys should let me in here. So yeah.
So you feel entitled to asylum here in this country? Why?
I'm pretty much like a pro-immigrant, open border kind of person.
Right.
So
why should we let you in though?
Why?
Why are you feel entitled to come here? That we should allow you to just come here?
Well, I'm kind of like far left socialist, and so the philosophy of that is just help the people who are.
Why does that matter? Sorry. I'm gonna let you. I'm wrong. I interrupted you, sir. I'm gonna let you expound your point. I don't know what you left-leaning had to do anything about it, but I'm gonna let you expound your point. I didn't give you a chance. I am wrong. I will give you the chance to formulate your point. Go ahead.
kind of like far left socialist, and so the philosophy of that is just help the people who are in need. So I think, and yeah, and I fit the criteria for asylum here.
And so you're not grateful because you feel entitled.
You could. I'm happy that you guys let me in here. So grateful. Maybe you could use that word. Sure.
This is my.
So let me understand this, because I want to hear him out all the way. You believe you are under the perception that because you are left-leaning, so that means just whoever was sitting in power at the time, that you were entitled to be in this country. You're entitled under the asylum process, which I don't know if Jesse is gonna ask him, what the fuck were you personally fleeing from? But we early into this. I want to hear a little bit more. Yeah, I'm sorry. I literally finished my beer and I didn't have enough time to run out and get more before the stream, so I can't crack a beer in this one. I'm gonna have to take this as soberly as possible. That's what I'm gonna have to do. We gonna do it.
And so were you let in under President Trump or Obama administration?
I was let in just a few months after. Yeah, Trump administration.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which many people say that the reason why I was there so long is perhaps due to like the pro-Trump, the anti-immigrant sentiments that Trump created with his administration. So that could be a factor.
The reason you were where so long?
Well, I was in jail.
Oh, so once you came here because you were an immigrant, you were in jail for a while.
Yeah, because that's the horrible thing about the immigration system, which most Americans don't know, is that they treat you as a threat before you prove otherwise.
Right.
And so you have to basically fight a court case while in jail.
Oh, okay.
And during that whole court case, you have to be in jail, which is absolutely ridiculous.
How did they find out you were here? Because you just...
We should let you in before verifying who the fuck you are. I didn't mean to put a still on him like that, the video still, but no, he's definitely not South Korean. Let me understand this. We should just let you in without doing a background check as to who you are, because you say you was in the holding to get verified. So we should just let you in, not knowing if you were from proper jail. No, I know exactly what he meant. I know exactly what he meant, Easy, but he's going to classify it as jail. He was in immigration intake holding. But you know what? I've never been there. I don't know what it's like. So for him, it could have been classified as jail. I don't know. But so an idea that we don't know if you were a possible reckless homicidal maniac in your own, and I hate the fact that I froze your face like that, because you do come off as a homicidal maniac now, in your own country, that we should not have to vet or do a pre-vetting status. I have gotten away from prison time, as I've never sat through that, so I don't know. And I am not, because he's entitled to his opinion, I am not going to dismiss, or rather diminish, his perception of what he believes jail to be, because I don't know what it was like in his country. I just know what it is like, what is perpetrated like in our country. So I'm trying to be non-biased, because that's what I try to do. Normally I get a little bit of time to sit here and think about it, but I'm doing this real time, so I'm trying to regulate myself, which is probably a good reason as to why I'm not drinking, right? So he classifies it as jail, but you don't think that there should be an intake holding a process that should take place prior to letting you inside an entire nation and not knowing who you are. We're not knowing what the reason that you're there for. I mean, hell, just by coming through on a from immigration, when you're being asked what's the reason that you're here, is it for business? Is it for pleasure? And you state asylum, which means I can't tell you the reason. I just need safety from my prior country. Why would not we do our due diligence to try to figure out who the fuck are you? Because anything that flies out your mouth can damn well be 1000% a lie. I would hold you as long as I need to prove that you're a threat, or until you say, you know what? I no longer wish to be here. I will go back prior to border and walk back down, because this is too much work for me to make it into your country. The process is the process, and you'll just have to sit through that. You'll just have to sit through it. Because why? This is the price of admissions. If you're not on the guest list, you stand in line. You, sir, stand in line. That's the way I look at it. Especially if you, because you're, quote, doing it the right way, stand in line. Stand in line.
Just came in. You flew in, and did you turn yourself in or something? How did they know you were in this country?
How did I?
I
just came in completely legally with a passport, and then in the airport, I was just, I didn't think that if I told them I wanted to immigrate here, they would arrest me. And so once I was in the airport, I was like, yeah, I want to come in here and immigrate. Yeah, which is very weird, because if I effectively sneaked in past the customs and then I applied for asylum, I wouldn't be sent to jail.
Right.
But since I told them right at the airport, then, you know, I had to spend the time in jail and wait for my court case to finish, then go out. So it's a pretty horrible immigration system. Yeah.
And so, how long were you in jail here?
How
long?
11 months.
Really?
Horrible, yeah.
Wow.
Very ironic that I spent longer time in jail here than in Singapore. Though the quality of the jails here were better. So.
And so, what were you doing while in jail?
Just making the best time I could, like exploring the people, talking to the jail people, learning chess. I spent a lot of time learning about chess. So.
And so, are you going to stay here, or are they going to grant you citizenship?
Maybe in like 10 years.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
So you lived in Chicago for a while. You were in jail in Illinois, and you lived there. How do you like LA compared to Chicago?
LA seems more my kind of people.
So he was north. He got flued in. He was north. He was already within the states. A swift prison break, and since he puts prison, a swift prison break, and he would have been free to be in all kind of directions here in the country. And he's actually advocating, whether he wants to believe it or not, he was actually advocating for doing it the wrong way, because he's like, listen, it would have been a hell of a lot easier if I just slipped in and then applied. But because I did it the right way, I got held, and I feel a way about that. Basically what he's saying. That's essentially what he is saying. Man, I agree with you, CCD. I got triggered from the shit that he was saying, because I was just like, the entitled part, I don't like entitlement across the board, whether you're immigrant, whether you're here. Like, you're not entitled to shit. No one is entitled to shit. You either earn what you earn, and that's it. But yeah, the whole entitlement thing is a problem, because I have a problem when even Americans go out to other people's countries and feel entitled to do nonsense. I think that it should absolutely get backlash. Like, the entitlement thing it's really difficult. And like I said, he triggered me off right from the beginning with that, because no one should feel entitled. But the words that Jesse used were very important when he said, do you feel, because that was the very important, do you feel gracious? Are you grateful for being here? The answer was yes or no. And then you can have your follow-up questions that come after that. But to say, gracious, I feel entitled. Yeah, let's.
I think the people in LA seem more entrepreneurial, diverse, creative, and also it's much more left wing in LA. I think.
Oh,
Even though
yeah,
Chicago's
it is.
pretty, yeah.
It is.
So yeah, I think the people are more my kind of vibe. And also like the scenery. It seems.
What an entitled, and excuse my language here, but what an entitled little prick. Of course they're going to treat you like a threat. That's the way you should be treated when you're going into a country illegally. Even, listen, the last 15 years of my life, I've lived a very blessed life. I've traveled a lot, and everywhere you go, even if you have visas, when you go through an immigration process, they treat you like you're a possible threat. As well they should. They're trying to protect the citizens of their nation. Now, we're not doing a good job of that in the West, you know, with 10 or 15,000 people crossing the southern border of America every day, but the point is they should be trying to do that. If you don't have borders, you don't have a country. It's a leftist heavenly dream to think that, oh, we just don't need borders and everybody's going to be nice. No, that's not the way the world works. We're at a point now, it's like that famous line that Trump said, Mexico's not sending their doctors and engineers or whatever the line was, but at the same time, would you want
I agree.
those people in these countries that have economic hardship, or if they're a war-torn country, Mexico's not, but some countries.
So my answer to that, he's going a little bit more into it, but my answer is yes. If you're in a if you're in a war-torn country and you are someone who is like an engineer, if you're a doctor, if you are a fucking an architect, yeah, we'll take you. I think you are on the list. So long as when you go to intake and we can verify what you've done, we can see your credentials, we can see you went to school, we can see you work for a particular industry. Like, yeah, absolutely, we will take you. You have done work for even for your own society, whatever, we will absolutely take you in. But if I can't even verify what your job was, I can't verify what you did, you got priors, whatever in your own country, why should I take you in at all? I want a new opportunity. I have to take accounting of your past. Wait, and keep in mind, that's not to say I won't let you in, but there are other circumstances that I need to take into account. Plain and simple. But I'm not saying you can't get in. I'm saying I need some time to really figure out if you are a threat or not. Because me just letting you in all willy-nilly is going to bite me in the ass. We just talked about, quote, good intentions. I'm not going to take the chance of just saying, well, I think that you won't do anything. We already gone through a whole history of the stuff that's going on when it comes to migrants being here. What we've even seen the clip of migrants who walking in prior to getting into the border, and they're sitting there talking about, hey, do you think it's all right that you should just be coming in just illegally like that? Yes. And I'm like, you don't have no shame about it? No. They come in, and then because we already have so many ways to, quote, become a citizen, let's be honest, I don't even think a lot of the immigrants who are here are even thinking about becoming citizens. I think they just plan on being here and hiding. My personal point of view. That's me. Won't throw it on anybody else. That's just me. I think they're here and they're going to hide and they'll make whatever money under the table or whatever. Or the only way that they'll plan on being claiming their stake here is to have anchor babies. That's it. Anchor babies or marriage. I don't think that they're really planning on going through the actual process of becoming a citizen, which they could join the military. They can go for their citizenship test. They're not applying for visas. Like, there are multiple ways where you can be, you can get residential status here. But doing it the wrong way is not it. Especially for those who come in and they are a tirade. They are a blight. Yes, they are a blight. And that I agree. And I hope you don't feel like that's what I'm stating. You don't deserve American rights. You don't. That is a privilege you have not earned. But that's that right there is a whole other thing that we as Americans need to have real conversations about, and real actual things being made, things done about. Yo, Marcus, what's going on, man? Thanks for showing up. That's a real conversation that people really need to be honing down on. You know, I still don't understand, just like the conversation we had about that, I still don't even understand why we as Americans, as a country, don't even have a national language. Mind-blowing still to this day. Like, let's find out more. You guys know I can get on all that for a while. There's just so many fucking holes that should have been patched up a long time ago.
Could be you would want those people to stay there and help to build that country, not necessarily immigrate to another country. Immigration at this level, you can't fix that. You can't assimilate those people into society. It is not good for economics. No matter what politicians will tell you, if you look at the stats of the Labour Party in England, because they went through this before America did, nothing good came of mass immigration. We're at a point now in the West that we need to have mass deportation. And unfortunately for the people who are going through this legit and through the proper channels, there has to be a cap on actual immigration, because this is a problem that needs to be fixed. And when you let all these people in like this, you're just endangering your actual citizen, and your duty as a government is to the actual citizens of your country. Let's get back to the video.
It seems better. Nice palm trees and stuff.
How are you taking care of yourself? Do you have a job?
Do I have a job? I'm pretty much money from YouTube and online donations.
Money from YouTube and all that donation?
Yeah, they
really?
make just enough to pay rent and food.
Oh, so you have an apartment and everything, and you make your money from YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
CCD, this man's monetized? He's monetized? He getting donations? We're gonna have to know a little bit more about this guy. I'm gonna have to do a little bit digging to figure out a little bit more about this guy, because how could he possibly come here? He got an apartment. He doesn't have a job, ladies and gentlemen. He's getting supported. He's not of legal status. Of course, he's not contributing to the tax system. I'm not even gonna knock him for doing YouTube. You know, if he could get by, but he's literally making money. That means he's making a good amount of money, because he states he has an apartment. He has an apartment, which, be honest, you don't need to be an American to have an apartment. I will say thank goodness on that one, because you should be able to buy where people want to be able to buy. Owners should be able to do what they want to do. I'm not going to put it on that. But he's making money. People are donating to him. He's making a decent amount of money. That's a good chance. I've thought about purchasing an iPhone, but I can't walk away from Android. I love owning my actual stuff. But yeah, you get that for free. You're getting your benefits. All the stuff that's being paid off for everyone else around you. You know, well, I don't even know if he's staying in. I didn't even read that part, but I don't even know if he's in a hotel. I don't even know. Like I said, I have to look this guy up, because I don't even know how long he's been in the country, because he did say he came around the Trump during Trump's presidency. But it's just crazy. You can even say still within that short amount of time, he's supplementing a living. There are people out there, and let's just be honest, I am not one to sit here and believe that the majority of people that are donating to him via his platform are immigrants. Which means we have citizens supplementing his lifestyle, and he's getting benefits paid for by taxpayers. I'm just saying. And yet he feels entitled. And let's be honest, he might actually be right in saying that his entitlement has paid off, because he's sitting down with Jesse Lee Peterson.
Isn't that like-
just enough. I wish I had more money. You know. But,
You can't do that in Singapore.
I was doing that in Singapore.
You're paying your own rent from YouTube?
He's
In
Singaporean.
Singapore, it's free rent because parents are there. So.
Oh, I see, yeah. So what do you think of Donald Trump immigration policy? I know you just said it's bad, but what do you think of President Trump's immigration policies?
Oh yeah, they're horrible. And I mean, yeah, basically it's been all anti-immigrant deport, lots of mass deportations, preventing people from coming in. Yeah, I think it's absolutely horrible.
And do you think that we should allow illegal aliens to just come into our country?
Yeah. yeah. No, that's the.
Of course he would believe
very
that.
bad thing. They say that you let people from more dangerous countries come in, it increases the crime rate, and that's the thing. Like what 0.1% of the people who come in are actually a threat, and they increase the crime rate, but.
Let me just say this, and this is going to sound very bad, but let me just say this for this idiot. Yes, we should look out for the 0.1% because all it takes is 0.1% to be a terrorist. That's all it takes. It's enough. It is enough. For some reason, our nation of late has turned around and not do their due diligence. It's crazy.
99.9% of the people, the illegal people who come in, they benefit the economy, they lead a much more better life than they did in other countries. So I think there's a far...
I want to know what was the shit that he was going through? What was the problems that he was going through in Singapore? What was his situation in Singapore prior to coming to the U.S.? I would love to know.
Far bigger net benefit to letting these immigrants in.
But they don't enhance the country. They come in and they drain the system. They rely on the government for free housing, free food, free education, free everything. So you have illegals coming into your country and you don't know who they are. You have criminals and drug dealers and drugs and all kinds of MS-13 gang members coming in. Why should we allow that into our country?
The bad people who don't contribute, who rape and do crimes or whatever, is a very small percentage.
Well, how do you know that?
How do I know that?
Yes.
Stats and like general common sense, I think. What are you saying that majority of the illegal people who come in are dangerous, bad people?
Absolutely.
Nah, I don't think that's true.
No, it's absolutely true.
How is it true?
They,
like a stat?
Just the other day, a driver, illegal from El Salvador somewhere.
You see, that's the thing. You guys always like take these anecdotal stories and you all make it seem like these small, isolated cases represents a huge immigration problem when they just make up like 0.1% of the people who come in here, whereas 99% of the illegal immigrants, they're all benefiting the economy and leading a better life than they have here.
They're not. They're not good workers or anything.
Well, I think that especially in LA, there are like many.
I'm sorry.
Especially in LA, there are like many jobs where immigrants like do and provide that generally benefits the economy, especially in LA, because.
Well, most of them send their monies back to the countries that they came from.
Even if that were true, I don't see a much big problem with that. So yeah, I don't look at it in a way that okay. I look at it in a way that you let immigrants in, you manage to help more people in the world, as opposed to just thinking about yourself.
But we do let them in. We let them come into the front door and not the wide open door, just walk across the border. So they do come in, but.
So, all right. So to cover his point, and I do agree even with some of the things that I am seeing in the chat in my own way of it, right? Because I get annoyed when I hear particular things like this. I get annoyed when I hear statements of people like this mofo, because he just, I don't know, maybe it's a youth thing. He does come off rather young, which is why he may actually have the the particular viewpoint of being so entitled. So as annoyed as I am, I'm trying to factor in possibilities so that I don't lean bias towards him. So I'm trying to take in his viewpoints from how he looks at it on a external factor, which I don't know because I've never been to Singapore. I'm trying to factor in and I'm not trying to make excuses, but I'm trying to put in a whole bunch of factors that I don't know about him to keep it as non-biased as possible, right? But then he states things that he has absolutely no key information on, and it just seems like it's coming off of a feelings kind of a point of view to state that it's the 0.1%. That should still be looked out for. And with all the people that you keep letting in without doing proper checks, that 0.1% grows. When you can't turn around and then say, well, these things, yes, there are some people that do it, but it's not a major thing that becomes a problem when you're seeing it all over. I mean, guys, if I really wanted to start putting out more in this channel about not just what takes place in my state, because that's what I just worry about, because I have to worry about my family, my friends here in this state of New York. But if I wanted to, I can show all the other shit that takes place everywhere else. I monitor Chicago, not so much because I'm like, that place is just going crazy. But I also take a look at California. Like, there are other key signs. It's not like I just strictly focus on New York. I look at the other signs of other areas. And why? Because there are not a lot of other places that are non-states, because let's be honest, not really sanctuary cities, that are showing a whole bunch of illegal activity. There are some, but they are not highlighted as much as to where they are gathering in general, which happens to be in metropolitan areas. The fact that he will be like, well, not all the immigrants who come here are bad. I don't think I don't have a problem, and I'm going to just say this. I don't have a problem with immigration. I'm not making the argument of we're a nation of immigrants. Stop it before you even think about putting it in your goddamn head. Because that's a talking point. We're not following talking points, ladies and gentlemen. But I don't have a problem with people coming in as immigrants. I don't have a problem with immigration. I have a problem with too many immigrants. I have a problem with immigrants who are not doing it the right way. I have a problem with immigrants that once they decide to be here, don't conform to being an American. Keep your heritage. Keep it with. I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. I don't believe that you should come here as an immigrant and decide you don't want to learn the common language, which is also why I have a problem with the fact that we don't have a national language on the fucking books. I have a problem when you come here and you believe that you should be entitled to all the privileges, but you don't do any of the real work. These are my point of view. This is what I'm saying. I'm not saying that you should believe what I'm saying. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not the same way about everybody else that you hear as a content creator. I'm not putting that on you. These are my point of views. I think that you should acquiesce. I think that when you are in Rome, you do what the fucking Romans do. You don't demand differently. You came to this nation. Do your part to be an American. It's just that simple. Don't think that you have the right to be here and do nothing. Don't support. Don't support. Don't fight for. Don't contribute. That's a problem for me. Because until you get your ass in gear where you're able to support, everybody else is taking care of you. You're a leech. Not for nothing, you should be called out and you should be treated like a second-class citizen to other people who did it the right way. Because there are so many avenues for you to become an American. It's not even funny. Whether you are coming in early in years and you go to school and you have to learn the national language, you be in forever and whatever, you take the citizenship test, cool. Well, you want to go about and get married to somebody and now you got residential status, but you still should be contributing. You should still learn the language. Whether you're here past 50 and you've been here for 20 years or whatever, you immediately got brought in. It's called the 50-20. You have the 55-15. You're 55 years old, been here for 15 years, you immediately get permanent status. You have so many fucking avenues. And you won't take it. To the point where, even if you want to become a citizen, check this out, ladies and gentlemen, in case you didn't know this, I'm pretty sure you're a smart individual, you probably did, but it's always new information to everybody else. When you take your citizenship test, you don't even need to know English. It'll be provided to you in your language and you become a citizen. You become an American citizen, and the very test you take does not have to be provided in English. The common language that's here. These are some of my concerns. Because at what point did we turn around and say that we're upholding American values? Because it's going to come to a point where we have to ask this question without getting patriotic. What does it mean again to be American? Without using the word pride? Without feeling proud, what exactly does it mean to be an American? Because it even comes to a point now where it sounds like you don't even need to support your nation. You don't need to do pretty much anything. You don't even need to understand the history. It's a bit disheartening. I'm just saying. And we get fools like the one that Jesse's talking to who shows it. And when you have so many people who are allowed to skate by, who are allowed to basically not respect the nation, if we allow the few to do it, then we only give breeding to the many. Because why? It's the minority that wind up changing things for the majority. We don't really come together as a nation as we should. I think those are the things that led to the problems that we have now. Collectively, we don't come together. I'm just saying. Majority rules only seem to work in politics. They don't seem to work in real life.
We need to put are you for the wall around the borders? President Trump is going to put up a big, beautiful wall.
Oh, no, it's ridiculous. Just a complete waste of money. So, yeah, you're pro-Trump for the wall,
100%.
Huh.
Big,
okay.
And I want it to be big and beautiful and a white wall.
Interesting. Okay. Nice.
Are you surprised?
Just a white wall.
That I'm for that?
Nah, black conservative, so I get that.
It should be all made of marble.
Yeah.
What do you get about that?
You're for the wall. You're pretty much, I think, anti-immigrant, like in paranoid state of frenzy against immigrants. So.
Yeah, not only, I didn't even think about the color of the wall. Not only should the wall be built, but the wall should be white marble. It should glisten. Off from the sun, it should glisten. It should. I think that would be awesome to see. Nice white marbling wall, just glistening. It's hard for you to scale marble. Just saying.
Which is ridiculous, but yeah. That's another thing we strongly disagree on, I guess.
How is it that you come into
you should have a skill set, OG.
Protect you from your country, and you don't have a sense of appreciation for it?
How do I guess I do appreciate if you want me to. I guess I do appreciate you guys letting me come here, but yeah, in a way, I feel entitled too, I guess.
You feel entitled?
Yeah.
And what caused you to feel entitled? Why should we be happy to have you here?
I think basically a socialistic mindset is you should just feel good if you help other people. So as you said, like before, you're saying that immigrants come in here for the healthcare and the education. Why is that a bad thing? You're helping them out. They're leading a life far better than they would be in like the Middle East or some hellhole they're in. Why shouldn't you feel happy?
Why shouldn't they stay there and fight for their country, to improve their country? Why should we take all these people from the S-hole countries?
Because they're leading far worse and horrible lives. That's why they came here, to lead a much better life. And I think America should welcome them and you know, feel good that we're helping them with healthcare and education instead of, oh, they're leeching off of.
Right now, we're trying to get rid of the DACA. You know what DACA is, right?
Yeah.
The illegals who came over as children.
Yeah, so ridiculous, yeah.
And so you're not for sending them back. What do you think about, they feel entitled as well.
Oh, yeah.
You notice that? They try to tell us what to do, how to do it, when to do it. They're marching and protesting. You think it's right for them to do that? Or should they just be quiet and appreciate so that we can say, okay, they're nice people, let's keep them?
Oh, no, it's ridiculous. The anti-immigrant sentiment is completely ridiculous. Ridiculous. I think you guys are like also worried.
He says it's ridiculous. Is it really ridiculous to say that the people that should be coming in should have actual real problems with their country? Because that's the whole point of seeking asylum. It's not to just say, hey, I get to come in for free. Hey, I just get to apply for free. Listen, there are pre-qualifications for everybody. It's a pre-qualification to really get your hand on a major credit card. You don't just say up and just say, I just want to sign up for a credit card, just whatever. Well, you got a bank account? No. You got the money to start this account? No. Do you have a decent credit card? Credit score to get this? No. I just think I should have it. I believe I'm entitled to a black card, American Express. Don't have to prove shit. I think I'm entitled to it just because I want it. That's not the way it works. American Express is hounding me. They are on my ass. They're like, please take us. And I'm saying, I don't want it because I am responsible. I don't have enough fuck you money for me to take an American Express like that. And I mean, they offer me the good cards. Not a black card. Not a black. But they offer me very good cards. And I refuse to do it. And yet I keep getting shit in the mail. And this man thinks he's the type that could just walk up and just say, just because it exists, I want it. And I don't need to do anything prior to get a hold. I don't need any prior requirements. That's the equivalent of just, see you guys out there to say, I want to walk up and I want a supermodel. And I don't have to prove to do anything to get her. Not for the guys that get lucky. I mean, good on them for the ones that get lucky. Wow, I got some fire engines that are being around me. But for those who actually go about their business, and let's just say you got lucky. You picked out real luck. But for the guys that just see the ones in the street just walk up and be like, yo, what's going on? Like, she's like, no. And he's like, well, why? I'm here. I have arrived. Sorry, you don't qualify. I'm on a major street, sir. And there's a firehouse that's not too far from me. No, I don't smell smoke. But apparently someone messed up. Who knows? Who knows what they did? But yeah, I don't understand people like this. And again, it might just be because he looks rather young. He could be Gen Z. He could be. But the idea, he's like saying that everybody should just be able to come in all willy-nilly, no one should never get a check. Where are you gonna stay at? Because at least if he's been here for a few years, since he knows the number of immigrants already coming through or whatever, then he should also know that America doesn't have this. America's got the land. We don't have the space, if that makes any sense. We've got the land to put infrastructure out to. We don't have the space because we corral ourselves in very tight-knit areas. We only expand upon the areas that we are. We don't really branch out to make new infrastructure. You know, people are still surprised when I tell them that we have ghost towns, right? They're just not poor areas. No, they're actually ghost towns, but people, they're surprised. If you really want to build something for yourself, as you state, because immigrants are coming in, take the ghost towns, rebuild your whole town, rebuild a town, and petition for some sort of funding, but you're paying into it. Don't just ask from us and you give nothing back in return. That's my sentiment.
About the fact that there people from other countries are coming in here and changing the culture of America.
Yes.
I think that's completely fine. Why would that be a problem?
You think that's fine to change the culture of America?
Yeah.
But they're going to, if they do that, if we allow that, they're going to end up with the same kind of hellhole they left. All they're doing is bringing their culture here and recreating it. They're not making the country better. They're making it worse. Why
Good job,
should we allow
Jesse.
that to happen?
I think to answer that question, it's more, it's less of bringing in the bad values of the culture from their other countries.
Did I not just show how these guys came from gangs and now they're already here making fucking rap videos? Robbing police officers in their own vehicles? SAing people? Like, how much shit did I have to show? Crime that's happening over in Lower Cali? How much shit do you need to see? You just finished, just on this show, they finished basically showing a whole fucking wanted list. Bringing bad cultures here? Absolutely they are. 1,000%. And again, it's that 0.1%, 0.1% that you're talking about. It's enough. Because what we already know here in America, minority rules.
And more of creating more diverse set of...
We don't need that.
They can talk about Trump all they want, but Obama was the deporter-in-chief. That guy deported more people, and rightfully, they did the math in Europe. And I'm guessing the numbers would be very similar to America, is that when you have a migrant, an illegal immigrant coming into the country, if you're going to allow them to stay, they end up costing in their lifetime more money than they will ever pay back in taxes. More. So think about that. 10 to 15,000 people right now a day are crossing through the U.S. border. Now we're talking here about quantity and not quality. And what a lot of leftists don't like to hear is that, listen, not all immigrants are created equal. Taking a look at England, they have about
1,000% true.
10 times more Polish people in England than they have Albanian people, but yet have 3 times more people in prisons than the Polish people do. In the last decade, hundreds of thousands of people from Hong Kong have entered the U.S. to immigrate to America, yet there is no Hongkonese grooming gangs out there. Canada and the U.S. welcome thousands of Ukrainians into their countries, but you don't see them in the street running around and stabbing and shooting each other. No, not all immigrants.
I would have to verify some of the stuff he's saying. He's got a lot of different cultures up there in Europe, so I have to really go through it again and look that up. That sounds very interesting, because I know Europe is going through their whole thing when it comes to immigrants as well.
Are created equal, and that is, my friends, just a fact. I hope.
CCD. This was a good one. I'm gonna keep that on my back burner, my archives, to take a look at that again and do a little bit of deep diving on that one. But I wholeheartedly agree. Well, not wholeheartedly, but I mainly agree with some of the points and takes that Jesse has put up. I pretty much disagree with everything that the young Singaporean gentleman said, especially because he's not been pulling his weight. He didn't say anything about having a real job, which he doesn't pay into his tax system. I believe he's not living on his own. And if he is, like, whatever, that's the business owner, but it can't be for a lot of money. You know, he said he was in Chicago. That's not to say that he's still there in Chicago, and it's been a number of years. Because this video was a day ago. I would have to go to Jesse Lee Peterson and find this to know when the video was made. Yeah. CCD, you said, have I driven across? I've been to areas. I've been to areas across around America. But you said I don't know. there are plenty of areas that are open and empty, but people are not investing in those areas. As far as I know, no one is voting in those areas. In fact, I remember the stream right now. I remember a stream where I was talking about the, what was it, the uh 10 underpopulated places. I was surprised at some of the people, some of the places there. And actually, OG Oklahoma was mentioned twice. But like, yeah, Kansas, Missouri was up there. There was a few places that were still under in population, but they're also not really known for sanctuary status, which I think should just get pulled away. It's a double edged, because if sanctuary status got pulled away, quite frankly, people who are immigrants would really spread everywhere, and I guess it would be harder to find rather than the sanctuary cities that they're being corralled in. So I guess it's easier to find them. I think the ones that really spread out and they don't bother hitting the cities, those are the smart ones, if you ask me. But I don't know. This has always been a touchy subject for me because we already have so many Americans that are already homeless. So many Americans who are working in homeless. I've already reported by doing the stats that the majority of people that are homeless are actually working families, and to think that they have a problem with housing, and yet even tourists in major cities are getting kicked out of hotels because they want to make room for migrants, for people who might end up being just like this young man, people who won't contribute to the system, while the other ones will be the ones who kick in the doors to cause harm to actual Americans and squat in their places or whatever else. There's a lot that needs to be considered, and there's some drastic actions that need to be done. And we already know this, and it's absolutely true. Obama was a deporter in chief. Things were heavily a thing back then, and I think there should be a rather large and scrutinizing eye when it comes to people who come into this country. It should not be an easy process, but it should be a fair process. And I love the way how the guy put it. It's a quality over quantity. I think if you can bring something to the country, um, and I mean, like, bring your education, bring your work history, bring some employment status that could be beneficial to a country. Don't just bring your bottle of tequila. Don't bring your favorite dish, your favorite food to eat. None of that. Like, I think you need to really be able to prove, the same way, like I said, when you're over in customs and they ask you what you're here for. Did you bring anything with you? Did you buy anything? Are you bringing over any fruit or whatever? Oh, okay. What exactly are your intention of being here, since you plan on going on asylum status? Do you plan on, how exactly do you plan on taking care of yourself? You plan on going to education, or you plan on enlisting in the military? Like, what exactly is the plan? And I think there needs to be heavier tabs to watch over people who are coming in illegally. I really think they do. And if you're not holding up to what you claim, the thing that you were going to be doing, because that means once you come in, you should be on a strict clock to get shit moving. And if you're not helping out, bye bye. Hope you liked it here. And you won't be able to come back soon. But that also requires us to have a very strong border. I like the marble wall idea. I don't know about the eternal fire. That sounds like a lot of gas, and I don't want to burn oil for that. But a nice marble wall, no fences, marble wall. Sounds good. That's just my thought on it. I've had this perception for a while, even prior to us having the big immigration push here, because quite frankly, I've always wondered why neighborhoods are set up the way that they are. When I think of the history of, like, how some bridges or towns were made, when I think of how some hoods were freaking developed, I think about, like, what the hell's going on here, and what does that say about not just what happened for the past for Americans, but how do we move forward with the future? A good indicator as to how we're going to move forward was how we treat things now Yes, you can look at the past and see how things were, but I'm a person that don't get stuck in the past. Because like, oh well, these hoods were set up to separate, to segregate people. Okay, cool. But is it used like that now? Well, no. Okay, cool. So how do we take what we have now and make sure that it's something even better for the future? Because the hood is not just for black people, at least here in New York. You've also had Jewish people that have hoods. And I can tell you their hoods look a whole lot cleaner, a whole lot better, even though I don't like the way how their buildings look. But still, everybody has something. But how do we get it to work together? Because the same way how we're a melting pot of people, the first and foremost thing should not be whether you are black, white, Indian, Spanish, Asian, Native American, whatever. The first and foremost part should be whether you're American. Because when you leave this country and you go anywhere else, the first thing they point out is that you are American. It's not that you're black. They hear your accent, and we have so many accents here. But it seems like where you go, they go, ah, American. To the point where you run across another American when you're out there, like, hey, where you from? Oh, I'm from Boston. Oh, where you from? I'm from out there in Tennessee. Oh, okay, cool. And you bond over being an American. But when you're here in America, I'm from Boston. I'm from Tennessee. Well, fuck you. Well, fuck you. And that's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. And we need to do something about that. We need to have better talks about that, because we shouldn't wait till when something is a profound tragedy, like when we lost the towers, to get together. Because Jesus Christ, now it's a cop car. We shouldn't wait till when we have a profound tragedy to get together, nation. And let's be honest, after a while, that dissipated. We didn't hold on to that sense of unity. How quickly we forget. It's a shame. We need to do better. It's true. Guys, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. I do not know what to say about this kind of stuff anymore. Anyway, I think this has been a tragedy for all, for so many people all over the place, and I wish I had the answers, but I won't have the answers. I never will have the answers. My idea is that we need to have the conversation so that even someone who hears it, even someone that needs to change the future, will at least have an idea as to where we need to go, because quite frankly, we're not at our best. We're not at our best. Guys, I thought I was going to do a little short today. It seems like I am going to be a little short today. So I am going to pretty much try to figure out what's going to be happening for the next stream going on. I do want to take a look at some of the things that were going on today. I do want to find out how exactly we're going to be able to move forward in the future. Hopefully we will have some other things, some other topics. Guys, if you want to reach out to me, I am on other mediums such as Twitter. You guys already know, like CCD. Thank you for actually sending that video in today of this with Just Lee Peterson. He sent that to my Instagram, which is Resla Opinionated. And of course, for those who want to reach out to me, I'm also at my email, which is wrestleopinionated@gmail.com. I hope that you enjoyed the show today. Seems like we didn't really hit up our 3-hour mark today, but I'm gonna give you back the rest of your day, because time is important for everybody. But of course, I say it all the time because it is absolutely true. You guys could have pretty much gone anywhere else to creators that are already established or whatever, but you guys showed up here, and I appreciate you for that. For those who are around, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if OG's still in the building, probably still is though. I'm pretty sure OG Do Dirty is going to be doing his stream today, and that'll be around 7 his time. He's not Eastern, so it'll be 8 if you're on the East Coast. So you'll have that. And of course, if you're also new to the channel, I do this all the time. all the time as if I've been doing this for years. But I do live streams on Wednesdays and Saturdays at 4 p.m. Be sure to show up, have a good time, talk with the chat. As you can see, I have a conversation with everybody. Sometimes I do streams where I do an open panel and I like to have conversations with all kind of people and taking their perspective of things. So it's not just me always just talking to you. And if you're not too sure of that, be sure to take a look at some of my catalog. I drop shorts, been a little short on shorts of late. But I am working on videos. I am working on a whole bunch of other stuff. And yeah. Sorry, I'm like looking at the chat at the same time. Yeah. Thank you, CCD, for actually giving me that video. That was actually something, and I'm gonna do a little bit of deep dive on that. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I am gonna take off, and of course, as we said, Resla, will you drop shorts? We'll have to talk about that some other time. Behave. All right. Damn it. Behave. You're not about to do this to me. I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna go touch some grass. I need to think after hearing that entitlement shit. I'm also gonna get a little bit of something to drink because I want to prep for OG show. Oh, duh. So on Tuesdays nights, technically Wednesday morning, if you're on the East Coast, it's going to be 1 in the morning. If not, it'll be a little bit prior to that. But OG Dirty and I have a show called the Drop By Discussions, the DBD, if you want to put it that way. Be sure to actually check that out for you night owls that you're like, I don't even know what to do at night, what I'm gonna surf. I can go get on porn. Don't get on porn. We have very good episodes of About to Drop By Discussions, so be sure to check it out. Something else to do with your time besides having to work your hands in the wrong motion. All right, it's not a masturbation session, it's a chill session. I'm gonna give your time back to you guys, and I will see you on the next one. Till the next time, stay opinionated.